Greetings from the sports desk. Tributes to Bafana and Orlando Pirates legend John Moeti continue. The 55-year-old died yesterday at his home following a long illness. Moeti won the historic 1995 CAF Champions League title with the Buccaneers. The following year, he was in the Bafana team that made history and won the CAF AFCON. For more on Moeti's life, we're joined by former Bafana and Kaizer Chiefs star Dr. Khumalo. A very good morning to you, 16V. Just a pity that we have to start speaking on such a sad note. Tell me your immediate reaction when you heard about Dunga's passing.
Good morning, and good morning to the viewers. Indeed, it's a great loss to South African football fraternity. I was not actually expecting this. It came as a shock, and slowly but surely another blow to the 96 squad. When you talk John, we're talking about a player that was very versatile, healthy, and never complained. And I cannot recall him talking about an injury. But what happened, it's only God knows, Yeah, but I must say I was very much shocked.
Yeah, he was definitely considered one of the great South African players. How would you describe his style of play? I was listening to Helman Kelele yesterday talking about the fact that he described him as a bit of a silent killer, not so noticeable, but deadly. Would you agree with that?
100%. John wouldn't complain a bit. I've never seen him upset or quarrel with any of the coaches or players. But one thing for sure that I know or recall is that he was one hell of a player that didn't want to lose possession. If you give away the ball to the opponents, he will go at you. One game that comes to mind at the moment is when we played Brazil. And he just walked up to me and said, listen, you and Hammond in the wing play, do your thing. I will make sure that the tiki-taka that they're playing will show them how it's done in Zanzibar. And exactly, that's what happened. So he was a little bit of a leader, but in a calm, aggressive situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for those of us who never got to know him personally, let's talk about him off the pitch. What was he like as a friend, with his loved ones, towards his fans? Just the kind of temperament that he had.
John, off the field, to be honest, I must say that man always used to respect his own space. He used to do things in his own private way of doing things, and he would only rock up, when probably there's a team meeting or we're just chilling as guys. But other than that, was a reserved individual. I must allude to that.
Yeah. And you mentioned, that match against Brazil. You guys played a lot together in the national team setup. What are some of your fondest memories playing alongside him?
Hence, alluded to the fact that he's one hell of a player that wanted us to showcase what South Africans are made of. He was not a player that wanted a team that kicks the ball from the back up to the strikers. He wanted to build up attack. Let's show them what we possess, what we have. And he will drive you in his own way. He will drive you in order for you to deliver.
Yeah.
And when we played DR Congo away, I think we beat them 2-1. And it was so hot, and we were complaining that this heat. I said, guys, are we going to complain about the heat, or we have to put the smile in South African supporters back home? Because we really have to win this game, that on its own, that's a sign of a leader. And that's a sign of a dedicated individual. So in that regard, he played a major role, even though he didn't have more game time, but whenever he's in the national team, I must say that the two Jones, may their soul rest in peace, were the ones that actually were fueling me in terms of taking on players.
Yeah. And what many may not know, Doc, is that he actually had a hand in forming the South African Football Players Union. That just shows that he had influence even off the field. What kind of legacy does he leave behind in terms of the football world?
Well, fortunately enough, he's the man that actually drove me to the union, the Players Union. Yeah, and, you know, he was more of an influencer when it comes to taking care of players. So I wasn't keen in joining the union, and he said, if we can do it, then who will be able to do this? And that, again, off the field in terms of him being the leader and trying to resolve the issues regarding players, you know, I mean, they have a players' union, and John was actually the initiator of the whole union situation. So I know very well what you're talking about. I'm talking about the stalwart that politically he was a little bit inclined about it. And I must say that I give him, you know, 100% in terms of, because I didn't know that players are supposed to have a union. Yeah, because get paid, go home, that's it, finished.
Yeah.
But there was more into that.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Doc, thank you so much for sharing your memories, your fondest memories, and just helping us pay tribute to the late, great John Moeti. Thank you so much for your time. That was Bafana and Kaizer Chiefs star 16V, Dr. Khumalo, joining us to chat about the life of the legend John Moeti. All right, that's where I leave things to Melo. I'll see you tomorrow.